Okay, most runners track heart rate, pace, mileage, but one factor might be silently holding you back: your weight. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how much your weight affects your performance, your race times, and why losing even a few kilos could be a game changer for your running. So I'm currently 63 kilos, or just under 140 pounds, and my marathon PB is 221. But when I started running, I was 83 kilograms, 20 kilograms heavier. And today I'm going to break down exactly how my race performances would be affected at 63 kilograms, 73 kilograms, and 83 kilograms across 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. But firstly, why is weight such an important factor for runners? Running is all about efficiency, how much energy it takes to move your body forward. Every kilogram is like carrying a small backpack, whether that's for 5K or 42K. And I got this great question in the comments. I'm 41 years old, 173 centimeters and 70 kilograms. My 5K time is 18 minutes and 47 seconds. How much faster do you think I could be at 65 kilograms? Now, your height and weight certainly suggest that that's more than achievable to take 5 kilograms off. And I'm going to show you exactly how that would affect your 5K performance, but also performances across 10K, half marathon, and marathon. But as I've just said, every extra kilogram is like carrying a small backpack for 42K or for 5K, whatever the race distance you're attacking. So an easy test for you could be to take a 5 kilogram backpack and go and run 5K as fast as you possibly can. Now, it's not perfect because that 5 kilogram is on your back and not distributed evenly over your body, but you get a good idea and probably a lot of motivation to drop that 5 kilograms. More weight equals more oxygen needed, equals a slower pace for the same effort. Imagine pushing a shopping cart. Empty is easy, full is tough. It's exactly the same idea, apart from the obvious fact that we need a certain amount of muscle in order to move us forward, plus very simply our skeleton, organs, ligaments, etc. in simple terms. And before we go under the bonnet a little bit here, the general rule of thumb is plus 10% body weight equals plus 10% on your times. Minus 10% body weight equals minus 10% on your times. And that holds pretty true across the board. So first, let's see marathon time. I'm 63 kilograms at the moment. My PB is 2 hours and 21. And that was the weight that I was when I ran that time. At 73 kilograms, so plus 16% body weight on where I'm at right now, that would make a 22-minute difference. And I'd be able to run for the same effort, 2 hours and 43 minutes. At 83 kilograms, so plus 32%, I would lose 45 minutes. So I'd be able to run a marathon in 3:06. Now, I'd still back myself, and I still back my original comment a long time ago on the channel that any man is capable of running a sub 3 hour. But this is one of the key factors. Of course, we need to be at a body weight that makes sense in order for that to happen. Can a guy who's 200 kilograms or 450 pounds run a sub 3 hour marathon? Probably not, but it's that simple. More weight equals slower time. So just on marathon time, let's go a step further. So let's flip that into power. How much power I would need extra at those weights in order to move forward and run the same time. And for those of you who are into cycling, or you've used the Stride or the foot pods to show your power, this is pretty interesting. At 73 kilograms, I'd need 16% more power output in order to run a 2:21 marathon. Now, just to put that in context, if I could run 16% faster based on my 2 hour 21 marathon, that would be 19 minutes faster and would take me to 2 hours and 1 minute 46 seconds. Basically, the fastest time a non-African has ever done by a good 3-4 minutes. I think it's Ryan Hall. At 83 kilograms, I'd need 32% more power. Basically, unsustainable. And if you were to take that 32% quicker based on the 2:21 marathon, that would take me 33 minutes and 38 seconds faster, and I'd be able to run a marathon in 1 hour 47:22. So impossible. So just for fun, let's reverse engineer that, and let's say that I lost 11 kilograms and got to Eluid Kipchoge's weight. So I'd reduce my body weight by 17.5%, and then working on that new power to weight from a 2:21 marathon would take me at 52 kilograms for the same power output, the same weight, to 1 hour 56:20. Now, I'm not saying that pound for pound I'm faster than Eluid Kipchoge, because you've got to factor in at 11 kilograms heavier, you've got that extra muscle, that extra power. What we need to do is get as powerful as possible and as light as possible to a point. So how would that weight affect my performances across 5K, 10K, and half marathon? So these are the equivalent times for a 2 hour 21 marathon. For a 5K at 63 kilograms, 14:42. At 73 kilograms, I'm running 17:02. Big difference. At 83 kilograms, I'm running 19:22. 10K time at 63 kilograms is 30 minutes and 39 seconds. At 73 kilograms, 35 minutes and 31 seconds. That's a 5-minute difference. At 83 kilograms, it's essentially a 10-minute difference between 63 kilograms and 83 kilograms. That would be 40 minutes and 23 at 83 kilograms for 10K. For the half marathon, at 63 kilograms, 1 hour, 7 minutes, 37 seconds. At 73 kilograms, 11 minutes slower, 1 hour, 18 minutes and 21 seconds. At 83 kilograms, 22 minutes slower, 1 hour, 29 and 5 seconds. And then at marathon, as we said before, 2 hours and 21 minutes at 63 kilograms. At 73 kilograms, 22 minutes slower, 2 hours and 43 minutes. At 83 kilograms, it's 44 minutes slower, 3 hours and 5 minutes and 46 seconds. So the pattern is clear and the penalty is consistent. But of course, at heavier weights, the added weight punishes you more the further you go in distance. And this might be the reason that as a heavier guy, you can compete at 5K, but when it goes longer, you start to struggle. And I get these comments all the time from guys who want to be quick, but they don't want to lose their physique. Literally just described myself, 6 foot, 80 kilograms, running and weights. No way could I lose 8 kilograms without losing more muscle than fat. I could probably lose 3 kilograms before I'm really lean. I'll just be losing a load of muscle. So I'll pass on this one. And this comment from Dan, I'm 179 centimeters and would love to be 80 kilogram. No chance. I'd have to lose vast amounts of muscle to get there. Now, it's funny because at the start of the video, I told you that I'm 63 kilogram now. I've been as low as 59 kilograms. I know what the difference in being heavier is because I was once 83 kilograms not that long ago. And so I've seen in real terms how that weight loss, and it was muscle loss, how that affected my performance. But what we've not even talked about, and this is 90% of the game, how it affects every single time you leave the door and run all of your training. It's easy to do the maths and say, if I was 10 kilograms heavier, how slower would I be at the marathon? But it's actually more complex than that. Because if you're 10 kilograms lighter, how is that going to affect all of your training, all of your times and splits in interval running, your ability to run fast, your ability to get comfortable at running at marathon pace, for example, and also your ability to recover after hard sessions, because for the same pace, you're not having to put in the same effort. For me, there was a real light bulb moment in terms of weight and muscle loss. I was very much a product of my environment in Manchester, which is funny because more rain in Manchester than I think anywhere else. And so you actually don't get chance to show off your physique even if you have it. And so we have this thing where we laugh at guys who are training their t-shirt muscles on a Friday night before they go out. And that's the only muscles that they're able to show off. And certainly for me, my football and rugby fed into that, especially when I moved to Barcelona and I was playing a lot more rugby and a lot more time on the beach. So all of a sudden, my weight went up, my physique improved. And I've said this before, that initially, you're just trying to get in the best shape possible. And then all of a sudden, you see the reaction of people around you and you quite like that extra attention. And then the next stage is you're competing with other guys in the gym, not to lift heavier, but to look better. And for me, I had to go into reflection on that period. And I still think about it to this point. Essentially, that was driven by vanity and insecurity and masked by me justifying the amount of time that I was spending in the gym twice per day to get stronger, be better in my rugby. All that changed when I got into running, realized very quickly that at a heavier weight, it's going to be more difficult for me to go quickly. I stopped training upper body and then fell into ultra running or got invited to an uphill ultra race, saw the guys on the podium that were nothing upper body, like cyclists, incredibly stick thin, like I am today. But their legs, I've been to bodybuilding competitions, I've been to see stages of the Tour de France, I've seen freaks of nature, and I hadn't seen anything that screamed freak of nature, work ethic, determination, and dedication like their legs without even talking to them. They're just on the podium, 1, 2, and 3, and they look completely fit for purpose. That flipped a switch in my head as to what I wanted for myself, and all of a sudden, and I guess this is quite controversial for some people, but all of a sudden, it became easier for me to pursue getting faster because that meant so much more. I got so much more from running and so much more from running faster and seeing that progress than to go into the gym and getting bigger, improving my physique to impress other people, feel as if I could handle myself in a situation. I get it for longevity, and it's essentially your insurance policy. If you've got strong heart and lungs, big VO2 max, you're gonna live longer. If you've got muscles on top of your skeleton, later on in life, if you have a fall, you're gonna be better protected. But what I'm most interested in now is how can I get as fast as I possibly can? And to do that, how much do I need to weigh and where does that muscle need to be? I say this often, but I went from not being able to run 400 meters at 83 kilograms to a couple of months later, dropping 10 kilograms really quickly and being able to run a 5K in 25 minutes. And then as I'm still dropping weight, but it's harder for me to get down towards 70 kilograms and then eventually 65 and then 63 kilograms. But 3 months after that, I was able to run sub 20 minutes for 5K. All of that was helped by me being smart about what I was eating and what I was training in terms of muscle group in the gym. Put a couple of great videos on the screen right now that will help you prepare for your next marathon.